Hello, everyone. Welcome to Monday Live with Alan and Greg and our guest, Debs, all the way from England. Late at night
Hey,
for her,
Debs.
and we're glad that she can join us.
Hello.
Hey,
I've got my coffee. Keep me
There you
awake.
go. I've got my
I
coffee.
have some sweet tea.
Sweet tea.
I'm not a hot drink person, so
No, you even drink like sweet tea in the morning, don't you?
yes, I do.
It's cold. And I drink coffee all day long, unless I cherry Coke or water.
Yeah. Black coffee, Diet Coke, or water for me.
I used to drink a ton of tea, though. My grandmother loved it. That's all just the powder stuff. But
Powdered tea.
yeah, there's all kinds of different companies that make tea that you
Oh.
can just
Yeah,
mix up.
they have powdered. It's like Lipton powder. You just pour a spoonful and stir it
For
in.
iced tea, not hot
Wow.
tea.
Not hot tea.
Yeah, iced tea.
Okay.
But
Yes,
I
we
suppose you could put it in hot water if you wanted to.
I don't think
So.
so.
No?
No, no. I don't think you can, Greg. Like you can't like for a Keurig thing. Those coffees in a little cup.
Right?
You can't take those out and pour them in like a bag. I've tried it. It tastes like doesn't taste the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never would have tried that, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah, I was out of coffee.
Constance.
It was either that or break the beans up with a hammer.
And Pat is here. Hello, Pat.
Hi.
Yo, Pat.
I got something to show for Pat. For when we talk about books.
Oh.
Well, we'll have to wait to talk about books because
Right.
people get upset when we jump in too quick and they miss the book conversation.
Oh.
Yeah, so you let the stragglers come in. It's only
Okay. Shall I tell you the story that I told Pat about my daughters pranking us at the weekend then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
We had, like I say, we had Boxing Day on Saturday. Whole table is set out as if it's Christmas dinner. So we've got Christmas crackers. We pull the Christmas crackers. We put the hats on. We look at the gifts. And then someone says, what are the jokes? So I pull mine out. And my joke says, where did Santa Claus meet Mrs. Claus? And the answer was, at the shop. And I'm like, that's not even funny. What is this? This isn't a joke. And then there's facts on there as well. And mine said that reindeers originally had 6 legs, but they evolved into only having 4. And I'm going, well, that's rubbish, isn't it? And then you get to the charade at the bottom. My daughter's 73-year-old mother-in-law was meant to act out sex tape. My husband was meant to act out deep throat. And we go, in the end, I said to my daughter, my eldest daughter, you've deliberately bought crackers that are offensive and the jokes make no sense. And she said, no, I haven't. What had happened was that the two of them had doctored them. They got together one evening, thought up a rake load of facts that weren't facts, jokes that made no sense, and charades with sexual innuendos. Then they'd taken the originals out of the crackers and replaced them with the ones that they printed off. And they sat there like 8 and 10-year-olds killing themselves laughing with tears streaming down their face. They absolutely couldn't control themselves.
Jeez.
So that's how well I brought my daughters up.
I kind of like it.
So did we.
Let's say hi to Lee.
Hey, Lee.
Hi.
What about the powdered Ovaltine?
Now we have the powdered Ovaltine here.
Hannah's here. Hello,
Hey, Hannah.
Hiya.
And people just saying hi to each other. When you speak about pranks, I remember it was New Year's Eve, 1999, and we were visiting, some friends out in New Jersey, upstate New Jersey, near the New York border. And in the morning, it was, of course, the year 2000. No. It was the evening because New Zealand hit 2000 first. And the girls went out walking, talking girl stuff. We came back and me and the other one's husband says, "There's news about New Zealand. It's gone dark."
Yeah.
If you remember, they were anticipating
the Millennium Bug.
Couldn't handle all you was powered, everything would go dark.
Yeah,
so
computers
New Zealand went dark.
Relate to it.
Yeah.
They turned on the TV. They're watching it because why aren't they talking about New Zealand?
That's funny, man. Yeah. I pulled some prank. I have an elaborate prank that is, I think, good enough to be in a book.
Go on then.
Okay, it's a group of guys, like in a rehab. Okay, just a group of guys, and you need 2 people for this. Okay, and you need a victim. So you think of a men's bathroom. It has stalls in it with bottom open.
Yeah.
Just like, duh, Alan, just like, so the victim goes in there after dinner to take number 2, and you get your friend to run in and say, come quick, they're stealing everything, come quick. What? Oh, wait, I just effed it up. Okay, the victim goes in. Now I come in to the stall, and I have a water thing of Dove detergent, and I put it down like I'm urinating, and when my friend comes in yelling fire or whatever, I go, what squirted under the where he's sitting and soaks them on his feet.
Okay.
I've never done it, just an idea. I've never done that.
All right, we've got a new person here. Sion Moeller. I hope I'm getting that kind of correct.
Hey there.
Kat, the ginger bibliophile, is here. She's going to be our guest host. Is it not next? We're off the week after that, I think.
Yep.
We'll have to look at our
organized schedule here.
Organized schedule.
Cat's on 224.
224. Okay.
So, we have a couple Justin first. But first, you're going on the. No,
we have a week off. Next week is off. Then we have Cat.
Right.
Then that would bring us to February, and I think that's when we're off because I'm going to be on a cruise with no internet.
I think we have Justin on first.
Justin's on first. That's right.
Yeah.
Justin's on first. Then I go on my cruise.
Where are you off to on your cruise this time?
Panama Canal.
Oh, lovely.
Aruba.
Mm-hmm.
Colombia.
And
there's a couple of other stops around that area that.
I didn't know you're going to Colombia too.
Wow, that sounds fab.
It's an 11-day cruise, so it's a long one.
Really nice. Almost a fortnight.
Almost, wow. and we don't have any internet because their internet prices are like outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
It's like $60 a day.
Whoa!
And you have to buy it for everyone in your travel group.
So
we signed up. We signed like $120 a day for the internet.
Yeah, can't even get it like two for or anything. 2 for 1.
No, well, the reason they do that is they know if one spouse got the internet, the other one be mooching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the great package
is got to have a package deal, seems to me. But it is what it is. It is what it costs.
You know? Well, something, I can live without the internet for 11 days.
Yeah.
Be a cleansing. Be like a nice little cleansing for you.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody. I haven't done it recently, but I've had my phone and internet cut off for like a couple of days, and you really feel it. You know, I reach in for my pocket where I put it all the time. You go to Google something. Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Googling stuff all the time. Usually pronunciations or spelling of words.
Mm.
Yep. Kat's excited. Can't wait. How do we communicate with Kat offline, Alan? Do we have her? Do I have her Voxer? I
No,
can't remember. Or email.
no. If you get her email or something.
Something, Kat. We need to be able to send you a link. So send me a show note, either private chat of how we can communicate with you offline.
Yeah.
So we can
Plenty
send
of
all that
time.
stuff to you.
Yeah,
And do it private because who knows who's watching this.
yeah.
Stuff you don't want in public. All right. We're about 10 minutes in. What have people been reading that they want to talk about? Debs, as a guest, you get to go first.
Oh, okay. January's been a really busy month, actually, and continues to be a really busy month. So, obviously, we have Proust.
Oh, yeah, you guys, yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
In Search of Lost Time.
Well, a lot of people in that group, too. A lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm on Greg's Discord. And
a lot of people have joined for Proust.
Yeah. The writing's lovely.
It is just, it's like pure poetry.
Huh.
Yeah, it's so expressive, isn't it?
Yes.
It's, yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I'm not very far into it, but I'm really enjoying it. Then we have...
Oh, is that Dustin?
That's
okay. Hang on.
okay. We're all doing this one.
We are.
This
How far
is...
along is everyone?
Oh, yeah. I've
I'm
got a few hundred pages to go.
Yeah, I've got about 350 pages to go.
Okay, your book, yours a little longer. You got the larger type.
Who, me?
Mine one's
her British edition's a little longer.
Yeah.
And I still don't know what's going on in this book, story-wise. Sometimes.
What is the plot? I mean, other than
I know. I want them to go back to the Western, go back to Telluride and that.
Oh, I like the bit where they were blowing everything up. I like the dynamite. That was great.
Yeah.
I love the Kieselguhr kid. I was like, come back.
That part of the story. I forget how it ends, or I might have to switch my favorite book by American contemporary writer. But God, the first part is killer. Yeah, you couldn't put it down, and
yeah,
he's a brilliant author. As I said, in the minutiae, I did it in today's Voxer. He's really good with the minutiae and the scenes and the details.
Yeah,
but he does not have a picture of the entire book, I think.
No.
Incredible, seem real, or like it could happen.
Yeah.
He does a lot of things that are magical realism, I guess, is the term that they like to use. But
yes, but there's a cast of thousands in this. It's really difficult to keep up with.
It is.
Yeah, you have to keep going back to the wiki.
Yeah, and they've all got ridiculous names.
I love those names.
I think they're great names.
I know. I love the names.
Hey, Gareth.
Hi, Gareth.
Hey, Gareth.
The captain of the ship.
At the moment, we're wandering up the Silk Road. That's where I've got to. And they're just about to meet Dusra.
Oh, I think I'm a little bit ahead of you. I'm on page 805. And the last part of that sentence goes, what was the last sentence? Where the last phrase is against the day. So you finally get to the point where this is why he titled the book.
Yeah. I mean, this volume runs to 12 20 pages.
Hmm.
Yep, I have that against the day. That's the last 3 words of the
Mhm.
of that part. I had it like circled.
Yep. I still think that old Tom was smoking a lot of weed
Oh, yeah.
while writing this book.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's
This
okay.
is an LSD trip book.
It is.
It's very readable. It just doesn't all tie together. And
It doesn't. It doesn't.
you know,
Well, in fairness, we should wait till we read the entirety of the book.
Okay.
You know, because I forget how it. Maybe I think something to do with Yasmin. I
oh,
think.
really?
Yeah, and tarot is going to come back. The tarot and that doesn't make any sense. Like he'll even misnumber them. You know, I'm a tarot expert, so that's like an underlying thing that even I don't understand.
But to me, it's like reading a load of Monty Python sketches all thrown together. It's just crazy.
That's a good analogy. Yeah, it's just nuts.
With good parts are crazy and interesting story, but then he'll leave the story.
Yeah.
Go on another one. And go back to the subs of chance going under the sand.
I'm like you, I'm not even trying to understand the maths.
Yeah, and there's conspiracies in it too. Like I just realized in this reading that Chums of Chance is just one part of this organization. There's many of these,
right?
Yeah,
like independent or inconveniences. Big, Zeppelins?
Yeah,
No, they're not Zeppelins, but
they're
I love the
airships.
Chums of Chance.
Yeah, aircraft carrier airship.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, because they ran into the Russians at one point, didn't they?
Yeah, they still do. They were talking to a Russian. Was it earlier today or yesterday? Because I read about 20 pages a day.
Yeah,
that's
about my goal to finish this book at the end of the.
I read it in chunks, but I have more time. Well, we both have equal amounts of time. I stay up on you.
I've been reading it in chunks as well.
I haven't touched it in a few days. I'll get back to it tonight.
Yeah, well, we'll get to. I'll tell you how I'm reading.
I'll tell you what else I
highlight.
Found that I'm reading. Oh, Metal at Woomera. I used to live there.
Oh.
This is the rocket range in Australia where my dad used to work. And
now, is that one of his books you got?
This is one of his books. Okay. And it's awful. It's absolutely dreadful. It's like a 1950s gung-ho boys annual thing. And it's ludicrous. And I can only think that the only reason he bought it was because it's set in Woomera, where we used to live.
Oh, that's one of your father's books.
Yeah, that's one of the Nick. I steal all sorts from his library. But yeah, that's what I've been reading. I did a group read with, a buddy read with Gavin at Genre Books last week. We read Where Angels Fear to Tread.
Oh,
Ian Forster. Yeah. Yeah. What a hideous cast of characters that book has. None of them have, well, one has a redeeming feature, but all the others are horrible. But it's a good book. I enjoyed it.
I have read his Howard's End.
Yeah.
And his other big book, it's going to hit me in just a second.
Passage to India.
Passage to India.
Oh, okay. I think we're going to try, is it First of the Wind for France? No, A Room with a View.
A Room with a View. I may have read that one too.
I don't think I've read that one. First of the Wind for France is someone completely different internet. Is that H.E. Bates?
I don't know, but I like Passage to India. I still remember that cave.
The cave, yes.
Yeah, and it has a flavor to it. I like India books. I love to go there.
Yes,
Chris, you want to read some comments?
Yep. Here's Lee saying I've been reading it. She's talking about Against the Day. I've been reading it
Yeah.
too, albeit slowly, and I think it is about as fast as I'll ever go.
I
Not
don't
really
blame
fast.
you.
Yes. Sorry, gang.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's what I
it doesn't
understand.
change that much.
Hey, MJ.
MJ
Hi,
is here.
MJ.
Hello, MJ. People saying hi to MJ.
Yeah,
Gareth.
I was thinking about Gareth the other day. He took his family and guitar player Richie to NOLA for like was it 2 weeks or something? I mean, I was thinking how great a vacation that must have been for him from England to dive right into the South and all the music in New Orleans and stuff. That's a cool city.
I'd love to go there.
Yeah. So I was thinking about you, Gareth.
Gareth says, I wonder if he'd see JT as a compliment being compared to Pinchon.
To Python, Monty Python.
My son. Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know, but it is that crazy.
Yep. Kat thinks it's cool you're getting your dad's books.
Yeah, very.
Hey, people. Oh, Hannah adores Passage to India. People saying hi. Constance reading Cloud Cuckoo Land and Gene Wolfe short stories.
Oh, Gene Wolfe, I have.
My favorite Gene Wolfe short story is The Island of Dr. Death and Other Stories.
I don't think I've read any.
That is, well, Gene Wolfe is usually considered science fiction or fantasy. But this is sort of just contemporary. I mean, it's about the love of reading.
That's the one.
You see that?
Pulp stories. That the story. I mean, I wrote it like there's a teenager who's reading a pulp story called The Island of Dr. Death, and it's included in a book called The Island of Dr. Death and Other Stories.
Right here.
That's what he's got there.
Yeah.
Tom at Tom LA Books turned me on to Gene Wolfe a few years ago, and I've read Peace, and then I've read the first 4 of the what's that, Servium?
The Book of the New Sun.
Yeah. So I've read all. I think I've read all 4. I might not have read the last one, and I haven't read the 5th one.
Right. I've read the first 4 when they came out, or shortly. That was the 80s, so that was the ancient history.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm like
they study that in history in school now.
But I think we're on the same spot. Those novels come in like two novels in one volume. So I've got both volumes up there.
Yep.
I'll get back.
I did finally get round to reading a Jorge Luis
Borges.
Yes.
What story did you read?
Recommendation. I read The Immortal, which I happened to find on one of my ebooks.
I have not read or if I did read it, it's been many, many years. I know that's coming up soon in my collection. It may actually be the next story.
Oh, okay. I've got 2 volumes of the world's greatest short stories.
Okay.
And it was in there. So I just read that one story because you'd been raving about the author. So it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I liked his writing style very much.
Yes. He does a lot of stories, and he said he in some interview he says, I have these great ideas for novels, but I don't want to write the novel. So I write a story about the novel.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Like the novel influenced people this way or that way, or write a book review of a novel that did not exist.
Yeah, that makes sense. That he would say that.
All right. Anything else, Debs, before we catch up on the comments? Good, Alan?
No.
All right.
No. You catch up on the comments and go to Alan.
All right. Gene Wolfe short stories. I'm on my 5th book this month, which so far is really good for me.
Good going.
Yes.
Sure.
Cat. I'm still chipping away at Cat. The Count of Monte Cristo and
I love that.
Identity. I also started an urban fantasy this morning called Sinister Magic. She's liking it. Kyle is
Count
reading.
of Monte Cristo is a real type of novel you can read piecemeal. You should read it kind of chunks at a time.
It's an exciting story.
Yeah.
He's reading the Lucy Worsley biography of Agatha Christie.
It's interesting.
Oh, I've been watching those on TV.
Oh.
Chris, The Bourne Identity was the first thriller I ever read. It blew my mind. Can never experience that first twist again. Oh, it was a good. I listened to the audiobook in the 90s. It was a good one.
Yeah, Robert Ludlum.
I have the Starwater Strains collection, says Constance. Oh, that might be talking about Gene Wolfe.
I've never heard of that, but I'm not a. They say to read Gene Wolfe you have to reread him. There's a lot of podcasts just like Pension Podcast. You can read there's a lot of respect for Gene Wolfe.
There is. MJ says hit the like button. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, go ahead if you want to.
Lee, I just this minute finished Tokyo Express by Matsumoto. They explained it on the very last page. Wow, a book. What a book. I recommend it.
Okay, now I should.
That sounds like a Japanese mystery novel.
Yeah.
I don't read like Japanese novels. I've only read that one. What was it? Silence
by Endo.
Yeah, maybe I should throw that in sometime this year.
I like Japanese authors.
I've read a few. I do like them when I read them usually.
I do too. I like Murakami, although I'm not meant to, apparently. But
I've liked Murakami books too.
Yeah.
But apparently he's a dude bro author.
Yeah. But I still like them. I think they're really readable. They do write a lot about cats, though, the Japanese.
They do. There was a very famous Japanese novel from early in the 20th century called I Am a Cat.
Oh, right. Not read that one.
And it's supposedly the story of a cat in Tokyo.
Okay.
I have it on my Kindle, but never found time to read it. Gareth will read The Count of Monte Cristo in the next couple of years. Oh, Chris is reading Gilgamesh.
Ooh.
Translated by Stephen. I think I've read that translation.
I haven't.
I've read at least, have I read Gilgamesh 2 or 3 times?
Wow.
Somewhere around there. Now, as I remember, Stephen Mitchell doesn't know the cuneiform language. So he just read all the other translations and reimagined it. It's not a direct translation. And honestly, who reads cuneiform?
Irving Finkel. He's the only person I know.
Elaine. Hello, Elaine.
Hi, Elaine.
Finished Court of Frost and Starlight. LOL. Have to go back and read book 2 and 3.
So I take it that's the 4th one in the Sarah Maas series, is it?
The 4th one? I've read the first 2.
I've read the first 2.
I'm not sure if the band book group is going to go on. I think we're just going to let people read them as they want to, just because it's just too much Sarah Maas for one group. I've
got all 5, but I haven't read the last 3. They get chunkier and chunkier.
Mm-hmm. So people saying hi to each other. Count of Monte Cristo is getting good, but the first 20% or so was slow. All the politics and the backstabbing just made me mad. I was in high school, mid 80s, for Born Identity for me. Wow, still a lot of comments. People saying, if you said hi to someone, I'm kind of skipping that over. I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that. Lee says, you're going to love Gilgamesh. I'm liking the biography, but I haven't seen Lucy on TV because I no longer have a TV.
Kill your television.
You can get along with. We have a TV in our house, but you know something? We never watch it.
Well, what
And
do you watch basketball on?
What? And I look at the bill because the YouTube TV costs $80 a month,
Oh, damn.
and I'm going, should we just cancel this? Because we never use it. But
We cancelled our TV and just went for high grade internet, so we can stream whatever we want to watch. You don't need the TV channels at all.
no, this is that's why we have the YouTube TV, which is enough. But
Rabbit ears.
Like
Rabbit ears.
flag.
Go ahead.
rabbit ears don't work anymore, or very rarely.
There more channels. I get channels that you don't even get, like these old ones. I must get 50 channels. I don't watch like old shows. I don't watch any of that. Just news and sports and General Hospital. Much in General Hospital, like 45 years.
Wow.
Yep. I guess Ginger's talking about some. Is Noah still in trouble? She's talking about the Sarah Moss books. Gareth is reading a Japanese book at the moment.
What you got, Gareth?
Yeah, tell us. Sometimes you just got to go light and easy. Read Gareth. I'm going fairy tales after all this. Yep. Silly me got book 4. Crazy hold wait for book 2, so I jumped ahead. Okay. All right, Alan. We're at the end of the comments. Yay! So start talking about what you read before people start commenting.
Yeah, I read and did a video review on it already of Beauty Land.
I haven't got around to that one yet.
Yeah, a lot of people haven't read it in my circle. It was a great book, just a good book. I didn't have to study. I just read it but I couldn't put it down. But then I finished.
Fiction or nonfiction?
Oh, it's fiction.
Yeah.
A lot of people are calling it sci-fi, but it's not at all. It's not quite literary fiction, although literary figures appear in it, and she almost won an award in that to go to school in New York City for acting. But so that was a new book. This is another new book I'm buddy reading with MJ. And at first, reading the introduction, I thought I'm not even going to be able to read this because it's like William S. Burroughs with the cut-up method on steroids, and the concept is. But I'm into it now because it's like a myth from the future. To me, I can see this shit happening, and some of it is already happening. So it's going to be a really cool book. Pretty thin.
Mm-hmm.
I can't pronounce the name of the title, but I think Constance told me what it was. It's that feeling you get for the flight reflex, fight, flight, or fight, or freeze.
Yes.
That one. And then still just trying to, if I keep picking this up enough, I might read some of it. But Lisa and I are going through this. Wallace Stevens. I guess I missed that day in college. I've never read him. And then I'm just fight for, the Sherlock Holmes read along. I'm going to concentrate on the stories that he wrote after he brought him back.
Okay.
And I'll watch like some movies and that too on YouTube of Sherlock or Sherlock related stuff. Oh yeah. Then we're all reading this one, huh?
Yep.
For Prestige. So I'm a big Dan Simmons fan. And that's about it, I think. Finish against the day.
Cool.
But
Well, are you done, Alan?
yeah.
Okay, I got 2 books I want to show. I picked this one on my shelf because I want to read an NYRB classic book every month.
So that's
Mhm.
I have
Lady
so many
Calling?
on my shelf. It's really good. And this is The Last Words from Montmartre. And I'm not going to get the author's name because it's Taiwanese.
Oh.
Oi Miojing.
Okay.
It was written in the 90s. She was supposedly one of the up and coming Taiwanese authors writing in Chinese. She was a lesbian living in Paris at the time, and she committed suicide.
Oh man.
Oh,
It's really sad because you could tell she's an incredibly talented writer from this book.
Mm.
But this book is a series of letters from a character writing to her lover that has abandoned her. And
Right.
Sad.
and I don't know. It seems like it's not really fiction, or it's fiction, but it's not really fiction.
Mm.
It sounds very true to life. And the part of this book, even though parts are really brilliant, she gets so wound up with, oh, I loved you so much. You are my soul. You are my heart. And you left me. I love you so much. I hate you.
Mm.
You know, that kind of,
Yeah.
and
Well, I know, like, get away, come back, go away.
it's exactly that sort of thing. But parts of it are just brilliant, and parts of it just annoyed the hell out of me.
Mm.
If she were to stop whining to her ex-lover about how you are my soul. You know, I've been dumped in my past when I was 26. I was dumped and I got over it, you know? Now, the
Man,
sad thing is she may have really killed herself over her lost love. That's what's
yeah,
really sad.
close to home.
That is sad.
It is. So that's,
Did she write anything else, or is that?
yeah, she wrote a book called Notes of a Crocodile,
Okay.
which
title.
won a very prestigious literary award for Chinese authors.
Right.
So they have this in NYRB class, and I will, even though I did not like this book all that much, I think I'm going to pick it up again, just because it's supposed to be a very brilliant book. Now, hopefully, Book Chat with Pat is still here, but I read.
That's my tomorrow read.
That's your tomorrow read.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to give you a slight spoiler.
That's right.
This is a fantastic book.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it. It hits all my literary buttons.
And what is it?
Elena Knows by
Elena
Claudia
Knows
Pinheiro.
by Claudia.
You're gonna have to send me
I'll send it to you. I mean, I'm not going to give any spoiler, but the basic premise is there is a woman in her, you don't know right away, in her early 60s, you presume, and she's got a very severe case of Parkinson's disease.
Mm-hmm.
And she has been living with her adult daughter, who has a strange relationship with a man. And the daughter's probably in her early 40s. And one day, the daughter is found dead, hanging from a rope in a Belfry church. Police say it's suicide. The mother is convinced it cannot be suicide. Now, I'm just going to leave it right there. So you've got this narrator who's just so physically debilitated. She can barely put one foot in front of the other and walk.
Hmm.
She is determined to prove her daughter did not commit suicide. Because well, you'll get to the story. There is a reason why it's plausible in the mother's mind that she did not commit suicide. And just the storytelling, I like this kind of storytelling that has very long paragraphs. It's almost stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
It's not really first. It is third person, but you're inside of Elena's head.
Yeah.
This entire, and I love books where you're inside the character's head.
I
And
really enjoyed the other ones that we've read
I have not
prior to
I have to
that.
pick them up. Is it similar style?
Well, I haven't started Elena Knows yet,
Oh, so you don't
so
know.
I'm not sure. The first one we did was All Yours, and that was really good. Then we did Time of the Flies, which is a sequel to All Yours, but was written, I can't remember how long it was.
I think Pat said like 15 years later,
Yeah,
20
something
years
like
later,
that.
something like that.
Then we read Thursday Night Widows, which wasn't so convincing.
Okay.
But the first two were brilliant, and apparently everyone who's read that is raving about that one.
I'm saying I'm raving about this.
Yeah.
If I had read this in 2024, it probably would have been the top of my reads.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
good.
There was some strong competition.
Yeah.
So I would have had to, put on that thing. Do I think it is the best? Maybe. I think it could have been. So
Yeah.
so far just started 2025 off with a bang with this book.
Yeah.
So,
I shall look forward to reading that tomorrow.
but it
Actually, it's
hit
today,
all
isn't it?
my buttons. There are some buttons in there that some people are going to go, nope, 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 nope.
Yeah.
Not my kind of book, but definitely my kind of book.
Yeah.
Because I like them dark and intellectual. So loved it.
Cool. I shall look forward to that.
Oh, here's book chat with Pat. She has a comment about that. Greg, the style of Elena Knows is different from the others that we've read, but each one has been written in an interesting way. Maybe you'll stay with the project. I've got a big problem. I don't own any other books by her.
And it's Read What You Own season.
It's Read What You Own season. Now, in theory, I do have an out because I told myself that if I'm reading it for a book group or something, I can buy the book to read with it.
I said the same.
I just can't count it towards my page goal.
Mm.
It says we have 3 more novels to go in the project. You can, but the problem is it still doesn't count. I can receive gifts. Absolutely. I just can't count the gift as something that I own for the project. Or maybe I'll just revise my
Absolutely. I've just revised mine. You can break the rules whenever you like because you made the rules.
I do make the rules.
Booktubers sending each other books for as long so they don't.
Oh, MJ and Criminoli.
Oh, I called them out on that one.
Yeah, swapping the Sweet Valley High book.
No, I mean now the thing is like I had rules like book group books don't count. If you read a group, you have to buy it. You just don't count it as what you own.
Yeah,
that's how I did it.
I had ridiculous rules which I've now amended, so I am including my ebooks. I am including my audiobooks.
I'm surprised he didn't. Right from the start.
It was only because I thought the book shack was a mess and it needed clearing out. So I thought if I read the physical books, I can get rid of some of the ones that I read. That was the only reason, but now I've changed my mind.
Yep. Well, I sort of did that last year where I excluded my audiobooks.
Mm.
Because I had this weird thing is that I subscribe to Audible
Yeah.
yearly plan. So every
Oh,
October I get 24 credits. I
yeah,
bought those books. So
Mm.
the first year it says I bought them. I can just use my credits and
yeah.
count
I
them.
mean,
The second year, or was it the third year? One of the four. The third year, I decided no, I'm not going to count my audiobooks just because it's not really a cheat because I bought the credit, but I'm going back to my original and saying, yep, my audiobooks count.
Yeah, everything counts as far
Everything
as I'm
counts.
concerned now.
Now, if I go out and buy something just on its own, then it wouldn't count.
Yeah. What if I've stolen them from my dad's library? Do they count?
I would think they do.
Because I
Yeah.
haven't paid anything for
No,
them.
no. Wait a second. If you are the heir
Yes.
to his book, you are they are your books because you're
Yes.
inherit. I mean, it
I
doesn't matter
like
how
that
you bought them,
argument.
you're inheriting them.
I am going with that argument, Greg. I like that one. Works
Yeah,
for me.
and as Greg's attorney, I concur.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
It's
Remember
like
that?
if I read one of my wife's books, I'd count it because we're married and communal property,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Although I would never say any of my books are communal property with my husband. They're mine.
Jeez, were you an only child?
No, I'm one of 4.
No, I just heard with
You've got a sister who doesn't read,
I've got a sister that doesn't
and 2
read,
brothers with Down syndrome.
2 brothers
Oh,
with
that's
Down
right.
syndrome who can't read.
That's right.
Yeah. No, the reason is because if he reads physical books, he tends to read them in bed and he won't wear his glasses and he
Oh.
holds them like this. Now, at the moment, he reads on his iPhone. So I only get an iPhone dropped on my head when he falls asleep. But I don't want all these books falling on my head.
Yeah. Well, that's
If
understandable.
this book fell on me, that would hurt.
It would hurt.
It would. So those are the 2 books that I wanted to talk about mostly because I really enjoyed Lena No, and the other book is not so good, but worth a discussion. And of course, I'm reading Proust. It's getting to the point where I'm going, oh, it's Proust time.
Yeah. So you're looking forward.
It's the idea that I am going to be having this daily habit for a year that I'm going to be indulging in.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
And I've always, even though it's really day 13, but what happens in 2026? I won't have Proust to read anymore.
You'll have to think up another one.
I will.
It's like a pink cloud.
I understand why some people get into reading a Bible every day.
Yeah.
It may not necessarily always be that they always totally believe.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, I'm a skeptic, so I wouldn't believe. But I think there's probably something very soothing about having a daily habit.
Yeah.
Where you're picking up a particular book.
I think you found your devotional.
Maybe. It's a weird one to have, but I'm weird.
Yeah. We bit. We bit.
We bit weird.
Everybody weird.
Yeah.
Gareth said, I've realized that the Read What You Own challenge won't make a difference to my boxes of books because I read too slowly. No, Gareth, remember that over time, you can wear them down.
Yeah. It's a war of attrition.
It is, and you go slowly. And this year I have not picked up any really obscure books that I've owned, but I should. I know, of course, I'm going away on a trip next month, so it's all going to be Kindle books. But
what do you mean by obscure, for example?
It's like one of these books here, Black Mischief. Even though
I love that.
I've owned this
Oh,
book for 20 years or so, and I've never read it.
I
yeah.
really like
there.
Evelyn Waugh.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
I
Well,
have this piece of paper where I've essentially numbered all of my bookshelves, like from 1 to 16, and then I counted all my shelves. So I could use, I won't mention the name, but you know that device that you ask questions to and she'll answer.
Yeah.
Alexa.
You can say, give me a random number between 1 and 16. And she will give you a random number between 1 and 16.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the piece of paper and say, well, I have 7 shelves on that. Give me a random number between 1 and 7. And then you go to that shelf and you pick a book from that shelf.
My God, Greg, I think you found the secret to the lottery. You never
Just
know.
ask
You gotta
who
try-
will not be named.
Maybe I might.
That's a cool way to
You
do
wanna
it,
try it?
though.
Let's this would be for March because February's no good. But let me get my piece of paper. Hold on.
Okay. You know, technical. Greg's so organized compared to me. Well, anybody is. You've seen
I'm
the
not
schedule.
organised at all, Alan.
Yeah. I'm saving those schedules. I'll put them behind glass.
All right. So here's my shelf. Now I'm not going to do the bookshelf with my American Library of America because that's in another room. But there's 15 shelves in this room. Okay. So Alexa, give me a random number between 1 and 15. Alexa, give me a random number between 1 and 15.
There's a number between 1 and 15. It's 8.
8.
Oh, my favorite number.
3, 4, 5,
My favorite number.
7, 8.
Got a tattoo.
Right behind me
That's very convenient.
is
It's as if she knew.
it is. Alexa, give me a random number between 1 and 7.
There's a number between 1 and 7. It's 4.
1, 2, 3. That is just, how you can't, you could not. So now
She knows you're on a live stream, doesn't she?
Arms reach.
She is all seeing.
she is. Now the problem with it is there are 2 books on this that I absolutely know I'm going to be reading in the next month or 2.
Mm-hmm.
So
Really?
I do.
What are they?
The Goddess of Filth by V. Castro.
God. Of course.
Of course,
I
this
know, I was
is,
gonna
this is
guess that.
about some women, I believe in Mexico, that decide to do a seance with one of the Aztec goddesses and actually succeed in summoning her.
Not about mud wrestling, then.
No. And I've already committed to reading The Dying Earth in 2025.
Oh, okay.
This has 4 novels. So I guess she picked one that I already picked, but or should I pick something else? Pick something else here. Oh, here's one I'll read. Andrew Vox, Sheila. He was a very popular crime writer back in the 80s and 90s.
Okay.
He did the Burke series.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a standalone crime novel. So you hear it here live. She has picked a book for me that I have owned before I got married
Oh,
Wow.
in 96.
Wow.
Okay?
And conveniently, it was on the shelf right behind the camera.
You could not ask, and you heard this is live. You
I
heard her
know.
answer those questions, unless I rigged her to do that. I had to rig her to do that. Which I
Yeah.
did.
You're close, but you're not quite an evil genius.
No. All right. Oh, well, we're doing good. Okay, let's get to some other questions. I have to stop buying for a year, and it ain't gonna do that. Gareth, our book, 5 books this month already. Not slow. I have only read 2. I'm up at 7 books already.
I'm up to 3 if I count Leonard and Hungry Paul.
Gareth, the same.
I've
I
got
get
10.
4 off my shelves in a month. I'm happy. Hannah likes the Bible daily habit comparison.
Yeah, Greg's devotional is
Devotional of truth.
who knew? Proust. Who knew?
Well, we'll have to see if this holds out. If it's just a tryst, a quick love affair that's starting up. Will I
Commitment, yeah.
will I grow bored at book 2? I don't know. I've read this book before and loved it, but always, or the 2 times before I tried, I never got past book 2. So we'll see.
Why not?
Why not? I could.
No, but why didn't you get back past book 2 before?
I think it's just I was trying to just plow through the books.
Oh, okay.
And I think the way to read a book like this is super, super slow.
Yeah.
And not try to say, oh, I've got to read 600 pages and then I can read my next book.
Yeah.
I don't think that works this way.
Okay.
At least for me, it didn't. Weird is fun. Same makes me sad, says Kat. Me too, Kat. I'm happy with whatever. As long as I read, as long as I'm reading, I just wish I had a huge house for my 1,800 books.
Get yourself a book shack, Gareth.
What kind of backyard does Gareth have? I don't know. You'd have.
I don't know.
Yeah, he does. Dave, get away from it all, huh?
Yeah.
My whole apartment's a man cave.
Elaine, 2 is normal for me at this point at the month, says Gareth. Ginger says, I wish I had 1,800 books. I've got about 600, and 125 of them are waiting to be read. Well, remember, I've been at this a few decades longer than you have, Kat. So,
yeah.
Come back to me when you're 62, when you're 60, and see how many you have. As long as you don't. And see if that 125 has blossomed to over 500.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I don't think I have 25, 30 books I haven't read.
Really? I've got hundreds I haven't read.
I should
I've got
count.
1,000 at least.
Yeah.
That's
I've been
wild.
doing this so many years, and to say, oh, sure, I'll grab, buy, especially Kindle books, $1.99, buy.
Yeah.
You know, you guys ever think like what you should be doing if you didn't find BookTube? Like if I would have stayed with Molly in Toledo, I wouldn't have been on BookTube. I'd be reading it. I wouldn't be reading it as much, but pretty much,
Yeah.
I don't know. You get a free education on BookTube too, but what would you do, Greg, if you didn't have your pub night or
I don't know.
edit and all that? Your editing's getting good.
If I was still a reader but never picked
On
up
BookTube,
BookTube.
you went to BookTube. You guys would travel even more, probably.
I don't know.
Mhm.
Maybe take up podcast, but sort of taking up podcasting sort of seems very similar,
But we have visuals, so it's better, easier, maybe.
Maybe harder. I don't know, like podcasting. I know. I guess there's some free form podcasters. I mean, I never script any of my
I
videos.
really do.
I
No,
know
I
there's
don't.
some people who really like to script their videos beforehand, but
Yeah, and some are good at doing it. There seems to be a thing that you're not supposed to look down at your notes or anything.
no. I
People say that
the
though.
way you're supposed to do it is like if I'm looking at my laptop right now, directly behind my camera, I'd have a screen scrolling
Oh,
with
geez.
words, and you learn to read. You let the screen roll.
Huh.
Like the screen rolls the words, so people don't see your eyes move. 'Cause in my video, I've noticed you can see my eyes move when I'm having to look at like tag prompts. If you're really advanced at it, you'd have it behind, and you'd never see me eyes move. But I'm not.
Uh-uh.
I'm not investing in the teleprompter.
No. I just
Yeah.
sort of treat mine as if I've got people coming around for coffee and we're just having a chat.
That's how I do it.
I'm
Mm.
looking at a proper tripod stand. I mean, I just used to prop my phone against a book or
Yeah, I used to do that.
So Ginger likes my way of picking a new book. Well,
Yeah,
you just have to go through your house and number your bookshelves, and then number your shelves, and anyone can do it.
it's pretty
Even
neat.
your phone can do it. You don't have to use the Amazon device.
True.
Oh, I guess I set off his device.
What could we do to spice up the show? Like, we could do like a giveaway books, or what else could we do? We'd have like we question each other, like if somebody cancels, we could do that.
Maybe. 8 is my favorite number. 2 it says retired and reading. It resembles the infinity symbol.
Yeah. I've got it tattooed out. These dice equal 8. It's been my favorite since I had a really good birthday party when I was 8. I did. So ever since then, I like my little motocross bike, number 8. When I play baseball, number 8.
That's a very good reason.
Yeah.
So Kaju says, picking 8 makes me think of Vandermeer's Annihilation. That's a good book and kind of interesting enough.
And
On
everybody's
shelf 8.
naming books and authors that I've never heard of.
Vandermeer as well.
Right.
I almost picked this one because I want to read this too, but it's 800 pages, and I got so much else to read in March. I'm doing Stephen King's It. I had to pick something short.
Yeah.
Mm.
Pennywise. Good old Pennywise.
Goddess of Filth, Augustina. Oh,
God, it's that made me crack up.
that Goddess of Filth sounds like it should be a Garbogust with that time. I actually think it's going to be above the trash. It's going to be more established horror rather than trashy horror, I think. Constance says, Greg, what did you say was your favorite Gene Wolfe story? Thanks. That is The Island of Dr. Death and Other Stories. And it is called The Island of Dr. Death and Other
I
Stories.
just held it up a second ago.
You did. You can pull it.
The Island of Dr. Death and Other Stories and Other Stories. Because that's the title of one of the books. But Gene Wolfe, the shite. But yeah, for me, I have to read
I think you just showed your copy. This is my copy.
Oh, you have like the vintage. Wow.
The Island of Dr.
Crazy.
Death and Other Stories and Other Stories.
There you go. Wow.
I remember when I was a freshman at university, we had a introduction to English writing class or English class. And every week or every class, we had to read a different short story in this huge anthologies of short stories. And one of the weeks was the teacher said, you pick the story and I read it and then discuss it. Of course, she could read, and the class had 30 people, so she could read 30. And I picked The Island of Dr. Death and Other Stories. And she says, no, it's just called The Island. Your story is just called The Island of Dr. Death. And I said, okay. And she came back to me and goes, no, your short story really was called The Island of Dr. Death and Other Stories. And she never read Gene Wolfe before, but she liked it. She said, that was a really good pick for a short story because it talks about the love of reading and the importance of reading and how if you find an author that you really love, how important that is to you.
Yeah. John, to me, I don't talk about John Irving at all, but he's one of my favorite living writers. I've read
He is. He's
all
a
his
great
stuff.
one.
My favorite books are not the famous ones. My favorite one is Until I Find You.
Really?
It's about tattoos and that. Then I love A Widow for 1 Year.
Okay. You mentioned The Widow. I have read The Prayer for Owen Meany, which I really like.
Yeah.
Cider House Rules.
Cider House Rules is
And The World According to Garp. Those are the
Yeah.
three that I've read by him.
Yeah, man. You can't pick a. Well, there's a couple I really don't like. I didn't like that Hand one about I think it's about a transgender or somebody. And then I didn't like another one of his. But he's written quite a few.
He does. So say in Greg's devotional. I was doing good, and then I hooked BookTube. I bought over 80 last year.
Oh, I've got
80
so
books.
many BookTube made me do it books.
Yes, especially when they're Kindle books at $1.99.
Yeah,
I bought more than over the years. I bought more than 80.
yeah.
Okay, MJ says Goddess of Filth is a great book.
Is it really a great horror book? Because I like.
I think so. What I'm saying is, I think it is not appropriate for Garbogist because Garbogist is supposed to be trashy and pulpy, and I think it's a little bit. Or MJ can correct me that it's just a little above that status. LOL. Some of us can't go to a used bookstore easily. My last shopping trip was in September. 3 years left on student loans, and then I'll have money to spare. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do, Debs. Treat it like that.
Absolutely.
Christina, I just read Annihilation about a week ago. Absolutely loved it. I've read the first 2 books of that trilogy, and I have the third, but I never got around to it. But that was like 6 years ago, so I need to reread the whole trilogy.
I need to go get more coffee. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay.
Cat's dinner time. I'll be back later if you're still going. Gareth asked, Greg, have you read it before? Yeah, I read it when it was brand new and hardcover and fresh off the press. That would have been 87 or 88, somewhere around there. Take care, Cat. I've started making notes on a top 10 short stories video, and it's pretty predictable. You know, Gareth, last year I did a series where I was reading through 20 short stories to pick out my 10. And I did a video on each short story, and those videos bombed. No one was watching them at all. But I did read all my short stories, so maybe I should do a top 10 short stories out of that list.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite short story people should know. I've mentioned that at least once or twice on this channel. But number 2 might surprise people.
Is any Raymond Carver on there?
I read no Raymond Carver for my project.
Oh man, he's one of my favorite short story writers.
No Raymond Carver.
You don't like him?
I think I read a Raymond Carver short story or two when I was at university, but none stuck.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know why I like him so much. I've been reading him a long time too. Especially like his poetry.
I did get a collection of Carver short stories from a library sale. You know, one of those sales where they have get a bag of books for $3.
Oh man, yeah.
And they had a Raymond. So I just tossed the Raymond Carver short stories in there.
Well, it's either Where I'm Calling From or What We Talk About When We Talk About Love.
Cathedral? Is it Cathedral? Does he have a collection?
That's a short story title. It's one of my favorites. About a blind guy who
I thought
smoked.
the short story collection I got was called Cathedral, but I could be wrong.
Cathedral and Other Stories. And Other
Could be.
Stories.
And I mean, I picked it up because I remember you talking when I was doing the short stories. You can are you reading Carver? I said, no.
I used to have his autograph on like a chapbook of poetry. I had a lot of people's autograph. I've lost a lot of books in my days. I didn't have them like you, Greg, but I like a small apartment. I did have my books lined on those concrete blocks, and then like 2x8.
Yeah.
That's all I did. Classy. I like the look of them, though.
So Pat also loved John Irving too.
She does.
I still think my favorite is A Prayer for Owen Meany. I've been meaning to reread that.
Yeah, I would reread that.
I'm not sure if I have
It's
time.
just so small. It's carried around and that.
Yeah.
I've never read it, but I've got it on ebooks, and it's one of the ones that I want to read this year.
Yeah.
Maybe we can think of something later in the year.
Yeah.
Where am I not? I have a lot of big books I'm reading this year. April and May, I don't have anything scheduled.
Well,
so maybe.
Yeah, you could probably put it in there with Finnegan's Way. That's part of the book.
I don't think I'm going to be doing Finnegan's Way.
Yeah.
Why are we doing Finnegan's Way, Callan? Why?
I'm glad to go in. I call it finning. Finning. Just I like to dive into it. It's like any chance I get.
I feel I ought to read the Dubliners before we kick off Finnegan's Wake.
Dubliners is excellent too.
Well, you know, I mean, of course, I have not read Finnegan's Wake, but I just imagine that book being like the toughest parts of Ulysses that really hurt my brain. And why I loved the group read of Ulysses.
It was brilliant.
It was one of the best group reads I've ever been part of.
Yeah.
I just don't like the book that much.
No.
Well, that's like a backhanded compliment, I guess.
You know, it's just I think Pat, if she still is going to agree, it's a fabulous read. But the book now, I'm kind of hoping we can reproduce that with the Brothers Karamazov.
Yeah.
That it's going to be a completely different kind of book from Ulysses.
Yes. There'll be much less of me going, what the hell's going on?
Well, you know, Dostoevsky can go off on a wild tangent himself, but he is more of a brain fever. He gets this idea in his head, and it's just like, I can't get this out. Write it all down, and it's just.
I just remember liking the character of the brothers and how different they were. And
yes.
I've not read it.
I read it in the 80s or was it 90s? No,
you
80s.
ever read it, Debs?
First read for me.
Okay, I'll zip it.
Yeah, just let her experience the father, especially.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm not even gonna use an adjective.
Gareth loved those videos, Greg. My favorite videos that I do on my channel never do well.
Yeah,
I know. I still read my short stories, but when I doing the video and I say, 50 views, maybe I can just read the short stories on my own. I'd always intended to do a wrap up but I never did.
Mm.
But now I'm thinking I should do that. Do my 10 best of that group that I read.
Mm.
And who can guess what my second favorite short story is? People should know the first, but maybe they don't.
I'm trying to think, which is hard after. Ah, damn it.
I'd have to
Oh,
remember.
yeah, I think the first one is the swimmer.
The swimmer. The
Yeah.
swimmer would probably make my top 12, but not the top.
Damn,
Have we got a Faulkner in there?
What?
Have we got a Faulkner in there?
We do. Now,
oh,
when I read my 20 best, I had to pick which Faulkner story to read. And I chose Barn Burning over
Yeah, I like that one.
Rose for Emily.
mm,
So in that list, I'm sort of dithering. Is a Rose for Emily better than Barn? I think Rose for Emily probably is a better short story than Barn Burning.
Okay.
more spooky and kind of.
Yeah, but still, Barn Burning really gets you. It's true Faulkner territory.
Yeah.
No,
And Rose from Emily is a little outside his normal wheelhouse.
Yeah. My favorite is probably That Evening Sun because he brings the Thompson kids back.
I don't think I've read that.
That would not make my top. I mean,
No.
if I had to pick my top 3 Faulkner short stories, it would be A Rose for Emily, Barn Burning, and I think it's called Dry September.
Oh. I bet it's collected stories up there.
Now, do you remember which one Dry September is?
No,
Nope.
not really. Did you send me that book?
The collected story? I think
Yeah.
I might have. But Dry September is when a black man has insulted a white woman.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you all of a sudden you know what happens in that story.
Mm.
And
Yeah, it'd be hard to read.
yeah.
I think I just read it. I'm trying to think. I can't think tonight. And you guys are showing books and writers I've never even heard of. Some of them. But well, I'm not even gonna. I might bring the show down. But Emmett.
I also love my short story. See, you're probably one of the 2 of the 50 that actually watched them and liked them.
I watched them.
Okay.
I enjoyed them.
I think.
For whatever reason, the algorithm and other people said no.
Mm. Well, tell us now.
But no, I got to make a video of it.
Oh, okay.
Now I have to make a video.
Anticipation.
See, now the thing is, when I go on my trip, I have to make videos in advance so I can release them on my trip when I'm not around to actually make them. So I got to make a whole bunch.
I might do a live just without a guest or see who comes up or because I'll go through withdrawals if I miss too many Mondays. I'll start having one by myself.
Gareth tried making the Grim Tales into an event but couldn't keep it going. Want to try again? Pat also loves Ulysses group. Yeah, I love the group, not the book.
Oh, Pat. Yeah. What was I going to say? Some ideas do fizzle out. Like, I hope is our October going to fizzle out?
I think October bit the dust.
Yeah, because we had 2 of them, 3, didn't we?
Yeah, I was going to do. I never got around to Poe this year. I just too much.
And now we have Ripper Palooza.
Ripper Palooza coming up.
Yes. That should be fun.
I do like having one group and then one either buddy read or like big novel a month. And next month I have 2 because I forgot they coincide. Like what we got?
We got
Sherlock
we got
Holmes.
Brothers Karamazov starting.
Yeah. And then what else am I doing? I'm
You know,
afraid I get this feeling like I committed to a buddy read and I forget.
you're not doing the 1001 nights, are you?
I'm tempted to join that. I
I
really
have
Yeah.
that. I have that. Who's doing it?
Mark Book Time with Elvis, Sean D. Steadfast,
Gavin and
someone
John
else.
Roberts.
Gavin.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
of Joyce's favorites.
I decided I fancied that one as well.
Now that's like a 2-year project.
Yeah, I think it's running over 18 months, but
18
yeah, it's a
months.
long project. They're doing a couple of nights each week. So it's going to take a while.
I even though I have some really, I mean, it's just like another devotional. You know, I have Proust and then Arabian Nights,
Mm.
and then my other big book because I'm reading after Brothers Karamazov. I'm doing 2 other big books: Fathers and Crows by William T. Vollmann.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to be doing it's open to anyone, but I think I'm going to be doing that book alone.
I've never even heard of it.
It's okay. I can do it alone. And then later in the year, we're going to be doing J.R. by William Gaddis.
Yeah.
I know Alan's in for it again.
Yeah.
Some people may join us. I mean, it's a fascinating book.
And it's kind of quick read for a big book.
What?
Quick read.
I have heard people comment. Some people say that book is completely unreadable.
Really?
Oh, really?
Stupid. Oh, it's, I mean.
Well, one of the problems with JR is it's about 90 to 95% unattributed dialogue.
Oh, okay.
So you have to understand who's speaking because a person is speaking to someone else and they're making references to the other person.
Mm-hmm.
They talk back. So you have to pick it out that way.
Yeah.
And there are no chapter breaks.
No chapters.
None.
No even paragraph. I mean, there are paragraph breaks, but if there is a scene change, it's just the next paragraph.
Okay. Is there punctuation?
What? It has punctuation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I can't read a book without punctuation.
It has punctuation, but it's sometimes difficult to understand when the scene change. Now, part of what he does is if you see a scene description, then you know it's a new scene.
Yeah.
So that's how you pick it out. So
okay.
It's not super easy to always understand what's going on.
Mm.
Yeah, I have the audible of it too.
I did too. The narrator
A little bit.
For JR, it's one of the best narrated books.
Oh, really?
It is. He does such a good job that he doesn't over characterize the voices.
Yeah.
But he does modulate his voice when the characters change.
Okay.
So it's really easy to understand this is this character speaking to that character.
Mm.
It's a really well done narration. Yep, Pat, appreciated. Now this will be your first time reading the Brothers K.
Me too, Pat.
Hey, Justin. Hello.
Hi, Justin.
We were talking about you earlier.
Because
were your ears burning?
3 weeks. If Justin is still here.
Yes. Good point.
Sounds like a fun event. Let me know if you want some help. I guess we're talking. Is that the Ripperthon? Maybe.
No, that's the Grimm stories.
The Grimm story. Yeah. Okay. She's talking to Gareth. Yeah. She's talking to Gareth. Flannery O'Connor, right? Yeah, Pat. That story may be in the top 10. This could be.
It's a strange story.
I know James Joyce, The Dead, did not make your top 10.
The one
James
before The
Joyce,
Dead Grace.
I was watching my video, and she was saying because The Dead for a long time was at the bottom of my short story.
God, why?
It just didn't work.
You don't like Christmas, that's for one, and it's a Christmas story.
Yeah, it just did not hit me. But I can say one of the stories that finished below it was John Updike's A and P.
Oh, okay. You didn't like that one at all then?
Well, I liked it when I first read it in college when I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
Because you know that my 20-year-olds go, oh, a girl walking around in a bathing suit in a grocery store. Yeah, great choice for her. No, but you know, once I hit 59, I'm going, okay, there's a girl walking around in a bathing suit in a grocery store. It just didn't strike me the way it
Yeah.
did at
You
20.
sort of think she might be cold rather than anything else when you get to this age.
Yeah. So that I think that I'd have to go. I think that made it near to the bottom or at the bottom. Another close one was a Dennis Johnson story.
Oh, damn.
In one of his I forgot which one it was, but
Jesus the Son? Emergency? From Jesus
Emergency,
the Son?
I think was the one.
Yeah, I met him a couple times at ASU. Dennis Johnson.
Yep.
You ever read Summer or Tree of Smoke?
I did.
Did you like that?
I liked it. It didn't strike me as one of the best novels ever, but I liked it enough.
Yeah, won the National Book Award.
It did. Don't badmouth Dostoevsky. He's a philosopher and not for everyone. I'm not badmouthing Dostoevsky. All I'm saying is when he writes and he gets into that white heat, it is just get it out there. And that's part of Dostoevsky's charm as an author. I don't know if charm is the right word. I know I spoke when I was in my working in Borders. We had a man from the Soviet Union, and he said Dostoevsky is actually a terrible stylist. He just can't really put the words together. There's a famous part in Crime and Punishment. You're up in Raskolnikov's garret, and the translation by Piver and Volonsky describe the table as round and oval.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And people comment, that's a terrible translation. You've got to pick round or oval. And some Russian speakers, no. Go back to the Russian. In the original Russian, it is described as round and oval. And the translators decided they're not going to correct Dostoevsky.
No.
Most translators correct Dostoevsky at that point.
It would be an odd thing to add in, though, wouldn't it, in a translation, if it was one or the other in the Russian?
Right. Well, I can understand if there's a word in Russian that can mean round or oval.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it could be that way. And the translator says round, oval, and they're in their notes to say, I'll figure it out which one I want to use.
Yeah.
Later revision, and they leave it in by mistake. I could even understand that. But apparently, that really is how that's the way Dostoevsky wrote.
Cool.
White heat.
Yeah.
Elaine, I'll send you a link to the announcement videos. Oh, that's his Grimm. Hannah, I adore Rose for Emily, trying to make sense of the chronology. Chronology always reminds me we're reading fuck. Yes. Pat also loves a Rose for Emily. Tie it with your book club fairy tale read. Just a thought. My Grimm takes book is enormous. LOL, it would take me months to read. Arabian Nights was part of that event. Didn't happen. Yeah, going back to Arabian, I'm still tempted to pick up. Now, do I want to buy the Penguin books? I can do it because, it's for an event.
It's for an event.
But I also own the Richard Burton translation.
Someone was talking about that. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Gavin, actually.
It could have been. Richard Burton was the first to translate it in English. And Richard Burton was actually a very talented author as well as an explorer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know which one. I mean, I will probably dip into it and see how it affects my other reading, if I can handle Arabian Nights or
Yeah.
if I have to just let it go.
It
I
is
think I
being
have
run at a
the,
very slow pace.
is the
Pardon me?
Richard Burton translation anything special? Because I think I have the same one.
Well, Richard Burton is probably close to being unabridged.
Mm.
Yeah, I have the Richard Burton one. I got it for $2.97.
That's not the
Ooh.
complete Richard Burton. The
Sure it
complete
is,
Richard
Greg.
Burton
Look
is
at
going to be
that. I
close
just
to
showed you that.
the 3,000 that Mark held up.
You don't think this is translated by Richard Burton?
No. I think it is translated by Richard Burton. I don't think it's the unabridged translation.
No, I
Oh,
mean the Penguin one runs into 3 books that size.
Right.
oh,
And
okay.
I think Richard Burton translated almost everything, or everything
Yeah.
that he gets hands on. Now, when I say incomplete, it may mean that Richard Burton was not given everything that was available, that they found
Maybe.
other. I don't
Oh.
know. You'd have to read the introductions of translations to find out what's going on. But I should make sure I have that downloaded to my
Yeah.
Kindle, because I have the Kindle version. Actually, I have the complete works of Richard Burton. on my Kindle.
Wow.
Cool.
It's one of those things you can buy up for $1.99.
Yeah, I get a lot of stuff like that from Delphi Classics.
I think the Delphi Classics is what I have my Richard Burton in.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to reread The Magic Mountain again someday.
I will not in 2025, maybe
Oh
2026.
no, not in 25. Someday.
Someday.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of sad. Is like it's January of 2025. My reading schedule is almost full.
Yeah. There's so many year-long events this year that
The Proust.
I want to join in with, as well as the monthly events.
Yeah.
Yep. I still
So
have
much going on.
ways to sneak in new ones
Mm-hmm.
or time to do it. Not schedule that.
You missed a whole bunch, I guess. You have to go back and rewatch. We're talking Grimm's Tales. You guys are doing an event. I'm trying to convince him to do it. Justin, LOL, I'll have to go back and watch the first half. Well, basically, Justin, we're just talking that you're going to be a guest or scheduled to be a guest in 3 weeks, I think, is when you're scheduled.
Yep. Never mind.
Mild Rumpus is here, or was here.
Hey,
Hi.
Miles.
Is it 9:25? And what time is it now? Oh, it's only 9:33.
2 in the morning. That's what the time is.
What?
2:30 in the morning. That's what the time is.
Yeah, Debs was
Can you still go? Are you about ready
Yeah,
to call it a
no, I'm
night?
fine. I'm fine.
Well, we're at
Gareth
an
has got to
hour and a
get
half
to
of
work
the show anyway.
Morning.
And my
Sorry.
voice is going to start giving out pretty soon. So
Yeah, I have to eat dinner too. My ritual is going to Pizza Jerk. But I wanted to ask you, Greg, and Debs too, but I know Debs' answer. Do you have a like a Popeye's chicken there in your
A what?
woods, Greg?
we do have Popeye's chicken near where I live.
And when I ever see, I go to this doctor like once a month. I got to get blood draws and stuff. But and when I do, I always hit Popeye's chicken. Man, I like that a lot.
Never heard of it.
Oh no, you would. It's like a
New Orleans Cajun chicken.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
New Orleans.
It's my favorite fried chicken fast food.
Oh yeah, well, good to hear it. Yeah, I love it
I
too.
love spicy food, so I love
I had a
it.
spicy chicken sandwich today. But yeah, you like that? When's the last time you had Indian?
Oh, a couple weeks ago.
Mm, yeah, I want to go back to the one I tried right across the street from me.
My husband makes the best curries.
Oh, okay.
And I make pretty good naan bread, but I can't do curries.
Non
They
bread
need
is
them.
hard to make because you got to have that clay oven.
No, you can do it on a griddle.
On a grill. Oh, okay.
Yeah, really simple. Just flour and Greek yogurt.
Oh, I like eating it.
Yeah, I do too.
Constant. I love. I mean, naan is one of my favorite types of bread. I just
Yeah,
love it.
me too.
Now, does your husband make his curries from scratch?
Yeah. Yeah, he grinds all the spices in a pestle and mortar, and so each one is different because he never does
Ooh.
the same thing, but they're good, really good.
I love, like, I've bought Indian in a jar,
Mm,
and once you've had fresh Indian food,
yeah,
that jar stuff just does not cut the mustard. It's just like,
no,
eh.
no,
Now, your husband making it from scratch, that might work.
yeah, yeah, they are good.
Constance, has anyone read Refresh by Benjamin Pierce?
I
I
haven't
heard
read
it
that.
was selected stories ago. I've never heard of the title or the author.
Me neither.
Another one for me too.
Oh, he said, sorry, Benjamin Percy. Still haven't heard of
No,
it. Someone else says, anyone read Jan Carson's short stories? Quickly, While They Still Have Horses is an excellent book for. I've not heard of that one either.
no.
Going to scoot. Have a great one, everyone. Good night.
Bye.
Lane. Debs, have you noticed what different books Americans read from English readers?
They've certainly, watching American booktubers has certainly extended my range of authors. I mean, obviously, people like Hemingway and Steinbeck I'd heard of, but
Mhm.
when it gets down to non-classic stuff, I mean, people like Percival Everett I'd never heard of before I joined BookTube. Really enjoyed some of his books. So yeah, there are quite a few actually.
Yeah, probably people like Tom Robbins and who else? A lot of them.
Now, Debs, here's a question. Do you think you read more British authors than American authors, or is there a good mix?
There's probably a reasonable mix, and I also really like books in translation. So I read a lot of Japanese authors. I read a lot of Scandinavian authors. Yeah, I think there's it probably would work out at about 40% English authors, and then maybe about 30% American or Canadian authors. Yeah, and then another 30% of books in translation.
I did my numbers in my stats video.
Oh, I liked your stats video.
Well, I have it in a database, so it's easy to do stats, but I'm trying to look very carefully now. Like, I read a lot of books from authors from the United States. That was the bulk or the highest number. I think in total, it may have only been around 50%.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking, like, I should really pay attention to read more around the world, more English authors. I don't read a lot of Canadian authors, and there's a lot of good Canadian authors.
Yeah.
Very few Australian.
I've read a few.
Almost no New Zealand authors.
I haven't read anything from New Zealand. I've got some, but I haven't read any.
How about Clarice Lispector?
She's Portuguese. I have not read any recently.
I haven't read.
I haven't had any recently, but I've read a lot of her me and
She is a good author. I really want to reread what's her big famous one?
the something about G.
The Spectre, something according to
Don't know.
her. The Spectre of the
Aquaviva. Oh no,
Oh, the Passion according
according to GH. Yeah.
Yes.
But Roz and Una and I had like a secret group of the Spectre group. So that's how I got turned on to her.
Mhm.
But we read a lot of them, but there's still some I haven't read that I don't have. But I've reread a couple of them.
Roz and Katia are doing their Reading the Globe project this year, which has quite a few authors that I've never come across before, which is great. It's one a month. We've just read Clean by Alia Trabuco Zaran, and that was really good. Really
Where's she from?
claustrophobic. She is Chilean.
Chilean. Okay.
Yeah.
I was doing that for a while, and I had a spreadsheet. Now, of course, I've got almost all of the major European countries done over my life, and quite a number of South America.
Yeah.
Africa is. I've got like 6, maybe 7, but there are a lot of African countries.
Yeah. Well, this is my spreadsheet.
Okay. Oh, you have a map.
I have maps. I have maps with little white dots on them.
Yeah, I like your map.
I like my map.
Well, some of those countries are really, really tiny, and
yeah,
stick the
Europe was really small, so I had to get another Europe map because on the big world map, Europe was too small to stick my little dots on.
For which one?
On the world map, Europe was too small. The countries were too small. Yeah, I mean when you get to things like
Europe map.
Yeah, when you get to things like Belgium and Luxembourg, you know, they're about the size of a postage stamp on a huge map. So, yeah, I got a European map as well. But there's lots missing. I've got a long way to go with this.
I mean, when I did my spreadsheet, I had it really also depends on where you download your list of countries from, because it can change.
Yeah.
And one of my things was I was feeling very rebellious at the time that I put Catalan as a country.
Oh, right.
Which they voted for independence and got knocked down.
Yeah.
The reason I did it is that I've read Catalan authors from Catalan. So I said I can now count it, but not a really recognized. And some countries you're going to have Vanuatu. You're going to have trouble getting the book.
Tuvalu and all of those little places around Australia.
Yes. Now, when you get down to those, I think you might just have something set in that country. Just like someone wrote a short story set in that country.
Yeah.
You're going to say, especially if you don't read more than English, because some of these, you can't go to the native languages and read them.
No.
So, but I'm pretty happy. I've read a lot of the world. I said, I think there's only one South American country or 2 South American countries that I have not done. That's pretty good. Most of Europe. Now, Vatican, okay, it's listed as a city, but do you count something? Vatican City?
Yeah. Or tiny places.
What?
Do you only read English books that are written in English?
I can only read I can read a smattering of Spanish,
Yeah.
but like I was trying to read Jorge El Curioso in Spanish, children's book, and it just really struggling with it. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can read things like Asterix the Gaul in French and perhaps Tintin, but the days of me being able to read a French novel in French are long gone.
what you're saying is you're not going to get through Proust in the original French.
No. Asterix is my limit.
I was actually there was a booktuber who joined the group who went to university and got his degree in French,
Wow.
and he says he's reading Proust in English. He just says
Lightweight.
he says it's just he can read it, but he can't read it like a native.
Something is walking on my book shack.
Oh,
I hear footprints.
a squirrel or
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. But my
Yeah.
goal is not necessarily to try to read every country in the world, but to read every year at least from 20 different countries or nationalities. Or maybe I
Yeah.
can, with my readings, I can boost it to 25.
Mm.
So, and try to get something from every continent.
Yeah.
Maybe not Antarctica, of course, but
Don't polar bear. No, polar
well,
bears.
no,
Penguins.
there are no natives of Antarctica.
Penguins don't write books.
Penguins don't write books, so you'd have to read a book set in
Yeah.
Antarctica.
yeah, it's a really noble goal.
Yeah. Let's see. Contents. I need to learn to make gluten-free naan and butter chicken. Suddenly hungry.
It's suddenly hungry. Yeah.
Ooh, that's so cool. Homemade spice.
Yes.
I view a lot of English booktubers and certainly noticed a difference. Matthew Riley is the only Australian author I've read that comes to mind. Lots of action thriller. Do I have something by Matthew Riley on my shelf?
I don't know, Alexa.
Americans read a lot more science fiction and fantasy. I think the English read a lot of science fiction and fantasy too.
Yeah.
I like science fiction.
I do. I actually am scheduled to read probably next week a science fiction novel by a South African woman. So
Oh,
I mentioned that one of my videos that it was the one where we try to read new authors.
yeah.
And I mentioned the woman who did the long, angry, distant planet. Oh God, it's very optimistic science fiction.
Becky Chambers.
Becky Chambers. She's really loved by Criminale and MJ
And Pat.
and Pat. And I said, I'm going to try it, but I'm really kind of scared of this optimistic science fiction.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I remember that video.
And so I'm going to pair
Yeah.
it with this science fiction novel that's supposed to be very grim, and it has witchy, cannibalistic nuns in space.
Well,
Well,
there's a sentence I never thought I'd hear.
Well, you'd prefer like a Octavia Butler compared to.
Yeah. I love the idea of reading around the world challenge, something for 2026.
Look at us. We're all planning 2026.
We
We're
already
only
are.
just into
Barely
2025.
2025.
Yeah. Always on the next book,
Woods and Robbie Arnett are excellent Australian authors.
There's a YouTuber, Gunpowder Fiction and Plot.
Yes, is he Australian? I think he's Australian.
He's Australian and he does an Australian read.
He does Australian reads, and I was going to join it one year. I always put my Australian book on the list, but I never get to it.
He's very good. He's very good at recommending Australian authors for that month.
Yeah.
I don't think I did it last year. I did it the year before, I think. But yeah, he recommended some great stuff and I really enjoyed them.
The one Australian author that I do like and have read is Colleen McCullough.
Yeah.
She did a historical novel set in ancient Rome.
Oh, did she?
Yes.
I've not read that.
Now the problem is you're not. I mean, okay, she's Australian,
Yeah.
but she's not writing about Australia.
No.
And I think the idea is like if you're going to read an Australian author, read something about Australia. Now here's an Australian book that I want to show you. This is considered the classic of Australian novels.
Not read it.
Poor Fellow, My Country. It's not really in print in the United States.
Right.
It's written in the 40s, but it's all about Australian culture.
Yeah.
And it is 1,463 pages long.
Okay.
Now, before you say that's a long book, look at the print size.
Oh
my God. Tiny.
That's a hugely long
Crazy.
book.
This print size is half the size of normal print.
Yeah.
I really can barely read this.
Yeah, you have to get out your little spectacle.
Like I'm going to read just one sentence, the first sentence or first line of a paragraph.
Yeah.
And just see how many words there are. She would have lunched with the Lily Lagoons people at the stable only. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 words on a line.
Yeah.
That's the print is just.
Where did you even buy that?
Wow.
You
I got
remember
this from thrift books.
You did? Wow.
It's supposedly the famous Australian novel.
Okay.
I want to read it, but it's a long. Now maybe this is a year-long project for
I'd say.
a
man.
year.
Yeah.
You know, as I said, and get your magnifying glass out.
Mm. Yeah, you'd need it probably. I would too, for sure.
Mm.
We all would. All three of us.
I like the idea of a month for 2 years, 24 authors from around the world.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Gareth, let's work on that for 2026 and 2027. Maybe the project is just pick 20. So I guess that'd be 24 countries.
Yeah.
Now,
Evenly spread across continents.
right. I'm already committed to trying to read 20 this year. And for me, I read 200 books a year, close to it. So it's not really hard for me.
No.
Gareth likes Becky Chambers too.
Alex from Alex Unabridged is a big fan as well.
Is he from Australia? Or no, a big fan of Becky Chambers.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's my. Well, I was going to start them immediately after finishing Elena Knows.
Mm.
I said I'm going to read those Becky Chambers and the South African science fiction after finishing this. But then I remembered that I'm reading or listening to a science fiction author, Philip Jose Farmer, on audio.
Mm-hmm.
And I try, when I'm listening to an audiobook, I try not to mix reading the same genre.
That makes sense.
Because all of a sudden I'm on this other planet.
Yeah.
And then you're dealing with other planet and you're going to get more confused.
Now,
Yeah.
Phil
So-
Jose Farmer, I just as a that's one writer I read like in middle school, like you were even younger though when you started reading Lovecraft, right?
Lovecraft, I started in 6th grade.
God, this, but
I was a little too young to get through his dense prose, but I loved
Yeah,
all
that's
the
great.
monsters.
yeah, but I always remember like Jose Farmer and discovering that River World series, and you
Well, that's
know,
what I'm doing right now.
uh, yeah, you've read it before though, right?
Um, I read the first book.
Yeah,
It
I
does
never
sound
finished.
really interesting. I was
yeah.
watching your
Mushrooms you
video
go for
about it.
food,
Well, that's
or
what I.
sometimes if you go, you blow up and end up with. Maybe I'm telling too much,
No, no. I mean, the whole idea of the river world is it starts off with Richard Burton,
right? Yeah, there he is
who,
again.
after he dies, wakes up in an afterlife on this river world where
With
every
famous
human
people
being
on it.
that goes back 2 million BC to 20 or 2008, these books are written in the 70s, so 2008 was the
Yeah,
future. But every human being from 2 million BC to 2008 is resurrected and comes back to life. And you're 25 years old again, and you have a perfect body. If you like lost a limb, you resurrected with your limb again. So you're perfect health, 25, and you're alive in this world, buck naked.
yeah.
Everybody, and it's really weird because they do it, and you're basically resurrected in clumps. You're basically born again with you're basically racial group about 90%, but 10% is just a random racial group from a random time. So Richard Burton wakes up and he basically has a Neanderthal in his group.
I just remember
They
you had
sound good.
these
It's a good
mushrooms
book.
food. You can let me say my little story?
Sure.
Mushrooms, they had mushrooms. You had to go, if I'm correct, right? It might be a false memory. You'd go for food, or sometimes if you sat on them or something, they would blow up and you'd be resurrected down the river.
Right. Well, what happens is you have these metal cylinders called grails, and you put your grail on these stone mushrooms, and twice a day there's this huge electric charge that comes in and blasts in the mushroom, and then your grail is filled with goodies,
Yeah, so I
liquor,
remember it. Like,
drugs,
well,
food, that kind of thing.
that's the kind of stuff I was reading, like
Yeah.
in Stephen King and
Yep. So Cyan is going poor editing. I don't know what he's talking to about the poor editing on something.
Other.
Gareth says, Greg, have you read Ballard? He's someone I will be reading a lot of in the next few years. Already read bits and pieces. I have read a few of his novels. I have to read Crash, which is one of his most famous novels. Have not read that one yet. I also have, get ready for this. The Complete Stories of J.G. Ballard. He has some really fascinating short stories in there. This collection is 1,196 pages long. So I've read a dozen or so stories out of this. I try to pick out the best. What I'm thinking of doing, and this is, I'm reading the collected works of Jorge Luis Borges.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also listening to the audiobook at the same time I'm reading the Borges. It just sort of slows my reading down and it gets it very succinct. I'm thinking of also getting the audiobook of this because they have it, the unabridged audiobook. And once I am finished with my Borges collection, I'm really enjoying reading 2 to 3 Borges stories per week. Do the same for Ballard because I want to get into that habit sort of like I'm doing with Bruce. They just have this schedule of reading short stories by one author and just enjoying them a lot. So I might do it with Ballard. I might do it with someone else once I'm done with Borges. I probably got about another 6 months on Borges at least. So
Now, do you like any John Barth?
I have read John Barth's
Into the Funhouse, is it?
In the Funhouse. I think his first novel I read. I have another one called The Saltweed Factor that I
Yeah,
want to read.
right.
That's sort of a historical novel written in an English that imitates the 16th century English or 15th century English that would have been appropriate for that time.
Mm.
Ginger's got to call it a night. Goodbye, Kat. I have to say, we've been here 2 hours,
Yes, we have.
and I think it's about time for me to call it quits pretty soon. Now Gareth said, if you do that with Ballard, I'll do it with you. Okay. Let's do it. After I'm done with my Borges, probably 6 months will take me to get the rest of, somewhere around there for that collection. We'll do the series of J.G. Ballard. We'll take that offline and see if we want to do the whole collection or just selected short stories out of the collection, because that's a long collection. It's a big one. But yeah, I have read Raise High and about a dozen short stories. Yeah, I've not High Rise. I have that on my Kindle, but I have not read that. I have a Ballard book somewhere around here. I don't think I can reach it. One of his post-apocalyptic ones. Oh, Gareth has. I have the 2-volume complete. Okay, Gareth, we will take it offline and we'll figure out what we're going to do with Ballard later in the year. Okay, my voice has had it. Everyone in the chat room, thank you for dropping by and making comments. Debs, thank you for staying up into the wee hours of the morning.
I don't have to go to work. I'm wondering when Gareth gets to sleep. He's a teacher.
I don't know.
He's got to get up soon.
He probably does. He always does this. He's always up in the middle of the night chatting with us, and we love him for it.
Yeah, for sure. His students must keep him on his toes.
Or maybe he doesn't need a lot of sleep like I do. I need my 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. Night night. Pat's
Bye.
here.
7:30. He's got to get up. You got 4.5 hours. Get to bed.
All right, everyone. Next week we are off. The show is off, our weekly off, and then we have Kat, the ginger bibliophile, and then Justin from Triumphal Reads. And then I go on my cruise. Okay, everyone. Have a great
Bye,
night.
guys.
Bye.
I'm off the pizza jerk.